James Harden is one of the most criticized superstars in the NBA, and he deserves it. But at the same time, during his prime, he had NBA legends and players shaking their heads at what he was doing. It was dazzling basketball that put fear in every NBA team.
Harden with the drive. A facial by James Harden going right at Draymond Green and a lot of
Harden with a step back three. Got another one.
Ron will check James. Oh! James Harden just caught a body here in Los Angeles.
Harden's got Ish Smith on him. Goes right around him to the basket. What a move by the Beard.
You know, James is he's such a fantastic player. And, you know, all I can do is sit on the sidelines and just shake my head.
But Kobe is not the only one. Here's NBA legends and players discussing why Prime James Harden was scary. And wait until you hear what Michael Jordan had to say. But first, let's talk about shot making. There's no doubt that Prime James Harden happened when he was in Houston, and that James Harden is the greatest ISO scorer ever. And to understand that, we have to look at how he makes his shot and what defenders try to do. During that 2018-19 season, whenever Harden had the ball, defenders already knew exactly what was coming. They knew he wanted to isolate at the top of the key. They knew he would bounce the ball between his legs, lull them to sleep with that slow rhythm dribble, and then launch into his patented step-back three. The scary part was even with all that knowledge, nobody could stop it. Mind you, these were difficult shots that most coaches advise against because the percentages usually favor the defense. But Harden completely flipped that logic. Somehow, the shots that were supposed to be bad basketball became some of the most efficient weapons in the league simply because he was the one taking them. And that caught Kobe Bryant's attention. But you know what caught my attention? Data brokers. They can have all kinds of my information and I wouldn't even know it. So my sponsor Cloaked basically called me out. They were like, put your number in our site and see what comes back. I figured, sure, whatever, bro. My social security was sitting there for sale. I wasn't expecting that at all. And look, most people have no idea this is even happening. Data brokers are out here making billions off your personal information, selling it to spammers, scammers, whoever's buying. And the crazy part? You technically said it was okay. It was just buried so deep in some terms and conditions that nobody actually read it. They're literally counting on you not caring enough to do anything. And honestly, most people don't. Now, a lot of apps out there will just go and remove your info after the fact, which is cool, but that's not really fixing anything. Because the second you sign up for something new, you're right back at square one. That's the part that nobody's actually solving. Which is why I use Cloaked. Yeah, they scrub your data and pull it off these broker sites. But honestly, that's not even what I think is the coolest part. The app lets you spin up unlimited burner emails, phone numbers, usernames, whatever you need every time you're signing up for something. You can actually call, text, and email straight through the app using those burners. So, when data brokers go looking, there's nothing to find. They paid for information that leads nowhere. You basically just wasted their time. And they also watch the dark web for your info. They have a VPN built in, a password manager, AI that filters spam calls, and they'll cover you with a $1 million identity theft insurance policy. Like, it's all just in there. So go to cloaked.com/hoopers. Put your number in and run the free scan. It literally takes like 10 seconds. You can see for yourself if your social security is out there right now. And the longer you sit on it, the more your info keeps getting passed around. If you're ready to actually do something about it, use cloak.com/hoopers and you'll get 30% off any plan. That's cloak.com/HOOPERS. There may not have been a better person to appreciate Harden's brilliance than Kobe himself.
You know, James is he's such a fantastic player. And, you know, all I can do is sit on the sidelines and just shake my head. You know, like some of those plays he was making, the shots that he was making. And those are difficult shots for 90% of the players in the league. And he makes it look effortless.
Bryant built an entire Hall of Fame career on making impossible shots over great defenders. Fadeaways with two hands in his face, off-balance jumpers, impossible footwork. Those were shots only a handful of players in history could consistently make. But Kobe admitted he could only sit back and shake his head watching Harden. That's how scary good 2018 James was. What's more, the numbers agree. During the 2018-19 season, Harden averaged an astonishing 36.1 points, 7.5 assists, and 6.6 rebounds per game, while shooting over 44% from the field, nearly 37% from three, and almost 88% from the free throw line. And all that on a 61.6% true shooting percentage. That's just excellent for such high volume and usage. So when the critics kept trying to explain away what Harden was doing and others complained about the step back, Kobe wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, it's easy to defend. Now what he's doing is absolutely remarkable though, and I think it's a testament to how remarkable it is because people are now trying to minimize what it is that he's doing. I mean, he's doing some phenomenal stuff.
Whether people liked how he played or how he chokes during the playoffs, it didn't really matter. Defenses still had to find a way to stop him. The problem was that stopping his jumper was only the beginning. Every superstar has a signature move. Steph Curry has the deep three. Dirk Nowitzki had the one-legged fadeaway. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had the skyhook. James Harden was different because his signature wasn't a move. It was having an answer for every possible defensive decision. And Jimmy Butler understood that better than almost anyone.
Who's the most unstoppable player in the league right now?
The guy's averaging 39.5 points. In the streets, that's 40. That's James Harden. I mean, he's a lefty. You want a mid-range pull-up, you want a floater, you want a layup, you want a dunk, you want a free throw. He's legendary for his step back. You can say that it's a travel, you can say it's not a travel. Ref doesn't call it, so I'm all for it. Find a way to stop it, travel or not.
What makes Jimmy Butler's opinion so valuable is that he has built his entire career on defense, toughness, and making life miserable for opposing stars. If a defender with Butler's reputation calls someone the most unstoppable player in basketball, then it's real. Notice how Jimmy listed almost everything Harden could do. The midi, the floater, the layup, dunk, free throws, and of course the famous step back that had defenders arguing with referees almost as often as they were actually guarding him. There simply wasn't a weakness to attack offensively, and that caught D. Wade's eye too.
He's good enough, and he's definitely, one of the most unguardable players that this game has ever seen.
Houston Rockets general manager at the time, Daryl Morey, took that even further when he said, and I quote, "It's just factual that James Harden is a better scorer than Michael Jordan." Anyways, Wade's choice of words is worth noting, because he didn't call Harden one of the greatest scorers. He said one of the most unguardable players the game had ever seen. There's a difference. A great scorer can still be forced into uncomfortable shots, but an unguardable player makes everyone who wants to guard him unable. And Houston just allowed that to happen every time. Give Harden the ball at the top of the floor, bring up a screen, and let him read the defense. Even Shaquille O'Neal pointed directly to that part of Harden's game.
He is. At the top of the key in that pick and roll, he's very Ginobili-esque. He's very tough to beat. So if he plays like that, Houston should do well.
The pick and roll became Harden's laboratory, and every possession was another experiment. If the defender went under the screen, he'd shoot. If they chased over it, he'd attack the rim. In fact, according to Draymond Green, a defender can get fouled right before a James Harden three-pointer.
I've been fouled by James on a James three-pointer before. I ain't trying to hear that.
Now, that takes the word attacker to a whole new level. And believe it or not, it's part of the reason why Prime James Harden was truly terrifying. And wait until you hear what Kyrie Irving, arguably the greatest ball handler ever, says about him. Kyrie Irving has built his own Hall of Fame resume on impossible shot making and arguably the greatest handle basketball has ever seen. When asked about James Harden, his response showed that the skill level stuck out to him.
What excites you the most about playing against him in particular?
Well, just the skill level. Obviously, he has a lot of respect of everybody in our league, so we understand how talented he is.
That says a lot because Kyrie understands how much skill it takes to dominate at the NBA level. Because this is a league where those who dominate are mostly freaks of nature and killers. Skill is good, but it doesn't translate to domination as much. And when he says Harden has the respect of everyone in the league, he's talking about the humiliation ritual that can happen on any given Sunday against James Harden.
Rockets on the left side. Harden just crossed over Wes Johnson, and that might be the single greatest crossover in the history of the NBA.
Sat him down, as my kids would say. He sat him down. So that was a nice move. I'm just glad I'm not that guy that failed.
Even NBA legend Paul Pierce got in on it, saying nobody got bodies like Harden.
The guy with the most bodies is James Harden.
Yes.
He has the best crossover in the game. He has the most bodies.
And he does this all the time. Like,
I mean, come on.
Stare down.
Every night.
Every night.
Every night.
So there go body. Right
Oh, that's
body. There you go.
Wait, Paul, you said something.
When you touch the floor, that's considered a body. Look, body.
Oh, that one's the yeah.
I mean, when you touch the floor, that's a body.
What spot?
He has the most bodies in the league.
And these weren't isolated clips that went viral because of social media. No, they happened constantly. Eventually, even the GOAT and Hall of Famers had to talk about what they were seeing.
And I know I'm going to probably get criticized for saying this. This guy might be the best basketball player in the world. I mean, he might be the best player in the world. I've always thought he was the best offensive player. He wasn't as great as Michael and Kobe. But I said a few years ago, and people laughed at me, he's the best offensive player I've ever seen. But right now, no disrespect to LeBron or Giannis or anybody, James Harden might be the best basketball player in the world, period.
Think about how outrageous that statement sounded at the time. LeBron James was still dominating, while Steph Curry had defenders battling post-traumatic Steph disorders. And then Kevin Durant was arguably the purest scorer alive, while Giannis was just a freak. Yet Barkley was talking about Harden being the best player in the world? Well, later he doubled down by explaining exactly why.
Listen, Michael and Kobe were better players from the guard standpoint, but as far as offensively, they couldn't shoot threes like him. They were not as great as dribbling the basketball, going to the basket, getting fouled. I mean, this guy, every time he goes to the basket, he's going to hit somebody and get 2 free throws. But we got to give that guy credit, man. He is an offensive machine, plain and simple.
Basically, Barkley wasn't saying Harden was a greater overall player than Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or any of the others. After all, Jordan was obviously the superior defender, and Kobe had 5 championships. And besides, every superstar has to show up during the playoffs. But all of that is simply the extra things that explain why James Harden has not won an NBA ring. However, if we're talking strictly offensive prowess, James Harden combined elite scoring with elite passing, often leading the league in assists while simultaneously winning scoring titles. Even LeBron James understood just how impossible that combination was to defend, especially after watching what Harden did on December 31st, 2016.
You know, part of it was the free throws, but he has a 50-point triple-double. When a guy has a performance like that, how hard is it to overcome that as an opponent?
No, you can't put him on the line. We put him on the line 20 times. He's already talented offensively. Can put the ball in the hole multiple ways, drive, step back threes. But you're giving him easy points. We put a guy like that on the line. You can't put KD on the line for 20 free throws.
That night, James Harden finished with 53 points, 17 assists, and 16 rebounds, becoming the first player in NBA history to record a 50-15-15 game. It was a nightmare, but when Michael Jordan saw such performances, he just called it the fruits of his labor.
All records are a sense of pride for the work that you put into the game. So, yeah, I'm happy to have it because I think it showcased how much practice and effort that I put into it. I think what you're seeing with James Harden is the same. He's not doing this off the whim. It's something that he's worked and he's perfected to a point where the results are starting to show.
And that's why teams feared James Harden. Not because he was flashy or just entertaining, but because every defensive adjustment created another problem. And for nearly 4 straight seasons, there simply wasn't a correct answer. Prime James Harden changed how offense was played in the NBA. He won an MVP, captured 3 consecutive scoring titles, averaged 36.1 points per game during one of the greatest offensive seasons ever. He became the first player to score 30 points against every team in a single season. But more importantly, the respect didn't come from fans. It came from the people who understood basketball better than anyone else. And when NBA legends and players and even rivals discuss Prime James Harden, they describe him as one of the greatest offensive machines ever. However, although Kobe recognized James Harden's skill, he also revealed why James hasn't won a ring. Watch why Kobe Bryant was still right about James Harden next.